As here we go, we are loading into an older map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan. We have the Polish Terran player, the Blue Terran. It is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. It is Art. Not to be confused with Art. Let's go. Let us go. See someone asking in the chat, when is Elite League? Elite League is, I believe, going to be live casted, not on this channel, but over on Crank's Korean channel. That is going to be in a couple of minutes. We will not be casting it live. We will be receiving the replays after the event, and we're going to be casting it in like 12 hours time. In around like 12 or so hours time, actually more like 13 hours time, we're going to be live on this channel with Elite League. The event is not casted in English, or I should say it's not casted live in English. We used to cast it live in English, but we didn't really get any viewership for it. The reason for that, I did just mention it, but the event, Elite League, is sponsored by a Korean streaming platform. So if you want to cast it live, it has to be on Chijik. You cannot cast it on Twitch, at least live. And we were the official English cast, but not many people watched it. I think we'd like peak at like 30 viewers or something. Sometimes a little bit more, but yeah, not really. We weren't really getting much like eyes on us regardless. So with that, that's why we no longer cast it live. Instead, we just cast it via replays here on Twitch and on YouTube. It's just better for us. It is unfortunate that that there is no live English coverage. But yeah, what are you gonna do? So we're going to be casting it after the events, like in around 13 hours. Meanwhile, probe is going to be zoned away. We do have our Rax Expand Economic Opener out of Spirit, and welcome one and all to Gresvan. If you're a bit of a newer viewer of StarCraft, you might not be familiar with this map. For those that are curious, and for those who are maybe unaware, the OSC Season 12 Championship, or OSC events, they do feature an extended map pool. What does that mean? That means that they're able to feature, or extra maps are added to the map pool, and players, they're able to play on them, they're able to compete on them. Maps like Gresvan, maps like, let me just double check. The 3 added maps here are Gresvan, Erahome, and Romanticide. Erahome is a TLMC map that never made it to the ladder map pool, and of course Gresvan and Romanticide, they were both a part of the ladder map pool from years gone by. These maps, they're voted on by players and by casters. I voted myself. I can't remember what I voted on, I'll be honest. It was a while ago. But we all did vote on which maps to add to the OSC Season 12 Championship. And every season they change the additional extended map pool. Every season. Meanwhile, it does shade into the main. Gets an SCV. Not bad. Gets 1 SCV kill. Oh. Not just one. Gets a second SCV as well. Not bad. At the same time, Spirity's across the map. He gets 4 probes. 4 probes go down for how many SCVs? For 3. Okay, a pretty close trade actually. 3 SCVs for 4 workers. What's important here is that I believe Spirit did not make it into the main. Let me just double check. And Spirit, yeah, he did not get into the main base. He did not scout. He is not aware of the tech of choice. Meanwhile, Art did get a full scout and did get eyes on the follow-up 111. So I would say a better outcome here for Art as he gets extra scouting information, whereas Spirit did not. Alas, Spirit now moving in with the Hellion. He should be going for the dive just to desperately get vision on what's going on. But now, threads him in our line. Up. One more shot. He gets 1. Gets 1 probe. He gets a second probe as well. Very nice damage. Where the defense is back at home. Art, he's racing back. Uh-oh. There's that warp in. But without any units, it's going to be 5 kills already. 6 kills. Oh my god. He got 6 kills. Dives into the main. And now he gets a scout. Now he confirms the tech, the Twilight Council, and the research as well. So a big moment here for Spirit. The initial Reaper harass was lackluster, but yeah. That's 8 probe kills already. With that, Art, he taps out, and Spirit takes game number 1. And just like that, we enter Gresvan, and then we get the hell out of there. One of these other games, I'm sure we'll be able to embrace more of Gresvan. Gresvan is a very large map. It's very macro-oriented as well. But maybe because of that, Art was overzealous when it came to his initial units. He was caught out in the open. He had nothing to him to defend, and you cannot afford to lose that many workers. What's important about what just happened, and what's really brutal here, is that was what? 8 or 9 probes towards the end, plus the additional 4 of the Reaper before that. That's like 12 plus probe kills. And what Spirit was doing wasn't really meant to get any damage done. That's the terrifying thing, is that one Hellion is just meant to scout. He's meant to get maybe one probe. Like, he's not meant to get damage, and he did, right? He did. He got more than enough for a unit that was supposed to die just for scouting information. Unfortunately, again, Art was out of position, and things just went from bad to worse. GG. GG, well played with that. We're now getting into game number 2. Spirit does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Art can bounce back. As we load into one of the more standard maps, or I should say the current Ladder Edition maps, as we jump into ley lines and spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Polish Terran player, the red Terran. It is Spirit. And spawning into the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, Blue Protoss himself, down in the series. It is Art. We go. So we are going to be settling in. So far we have once again what looks to be another setup for an economic opener, but we are loading into a smaller map. I'm going to be loading into a smaller map here, ley lines of course, for game number 2. It's a little bit more middle of the road. It's larger than, say, Whispers of Gold, smaller than, your amygdalas. Sounds weird to say. The map amygdala. You get me. Alright, so it does poke in for a scout. He confirms only one gas, and just the one gas geyser. And from here, Spirit is going for the faster CC. So again, economic open out of Spirits. The probe is going to be able to block, is going to be able to delay. And Spirit takes his natural. Only delays by like a second or two. So just a small delay. Across the map, Art is likewise setting up and soon going for his tech of choice. I mean, I would imagine blink-based opener, blink, 3-gate opener into a third base is kind of the stock standard in this matchup. Art isn't really one to mix it up too often, but we'll see. So we have the Adept on the way. Ooh, Spirit moving out with a proxy starport. Let's go! Factory is almost done, and we're waiting for it to finish up here. This has been a little bit more trendy as of late. It is a cheeky build. Typically, we should be seeing an add-on swap here. So the racks with the factory into add-on swap into Hellion production. Yep, there we go. There's the add-on swap. And across the map, starport. Now, the goal here is to get into 4 Hellions, drop into the main base, and wreak havoc in the mineral line. How many Hellions does it take to one-shot a probe? 3. 3 Hellions to one-shot a probe. And because Hellions do splash damage, if probes line up, I mean, you can eviscerate a mineral line real quick. Adept shades in. Adept is denied access into the main. But seeing Hellions is a tell. There he is. He spots Hellions. He does spot the Hellions. He knows, okay, it's not going to be a Widowmine based opener. It's going to be more aggressive than that. As making additional Hellions is a tell. And back at home, Art should be walling up. Now again, for all Art knows, this could be like a big commitment into Hellion. And this could be not a medevac, but a Raven, but a Liberator instead. It could be a Hellion Liberator. Regardless, he does need to set up SimCity and get ready in the main. Shield batteries on the way. Shield batteries on the way. So far, working with only 2 gateways. Oh, okay, so it's going to be 2-gate blink into a Robo, so he has less warp-ins, less gateway units. Here comes that drop. And here comes Spirit. Spirit diving into the main. Oh, does rush in. Sorga's trying to keep up. And probes are going to be going down. Hopefully they don't stack up too much. Oh, as no, they're trapped. They're trapped. The Hellions, they get in. Hellion shots going to be going off, and thankfully the shield battery putting in a lot of work does save them. Whew. Does save the probes. Hellions to get shut down. And Art holds. Art does hold that MVP shield battery. Likewise, SimCity working a little bit against Spirit there. Things got a little bit dicey, but Art defends. With that, Spirit, he backs off, back across the map, getting to his own 3-1-1 setup. Rax is on the way, Starport floating back home, and the game will continue. Okay, we got a game. We have a game on our hands. We have a series. As Archie is going to be committing to a further gateway composition, extra gateways on the way, Fortress +1, and more importantly, charge. So Art, instead of taking into a Bay, into Colossus, into splash damage, is going for something more gateway heavy, gateway centric, at least for the time being. And this can be a good way to shut down a more aggressive Terran player, to try to punish a tank move out, and earlier sim timing. See if Art can build up. Likewise, Spirit just chilling back at home, waiting for his upgrades. Medevac has arrived. And he can try to go for early draw play. The Observer's in position to scout. Oh, did he see it? Did he hear it? Potentially. So far being kept hidden. Hallucination confirms the saturation. Dives into the main. Stalkers are moving out. And it will get eyes on the 5-rack setup. And these Stalkers, they shouldn't commit in. Their goal here is to pick off any kind of key units and delay the push. Delay it and kind of move out. Ellie dips in. Got to be zoned away. It's cleaned up. See, and this is how you handle a heli. Like, like the heli got nothing done, only scattered. Which is more than what I can say about last game and how it got 8 probe kills. So are we good? Good so far. Is maintaining himself, getting ready for his Zealot run by. At the same time, here comes +1. Here comes the Bay for Colossus, so he's working towards that splash damage. Ooh, and Spirit, he does sneak out with a double drop. Oh. Now, with this unload, it looks like Spirit, his goal here is to move out with his army, force a blink, and then come in from behind and punish these Stalkers. So he is setting up a trap. He's trying to force that blink. As he's luring the army in. We have a stim, there's the blink, and here comes a dive. A second stim comes in for the surround, and Stalkers are going to be falling. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. 3 Stalkers go down, 2 of them do escape, but so far that was a better trade for Spirit. And Archie is in a bit of trouble here. Now, thankfully, he escapes with at least some units. At the same time, Zealot run by in towards the natural. Spirit out of position, racing back home. Does race back. A couple of SCVs are going to go down, getting 3 SCVs for 4 Zealots. Better trade for Spirit. And now it's time to push. He scans, he's moving out. The Observer does spot this. And Spirit does have a massive supply lead. As Art, he just bled out Zealots and Stalkers. Back at home, there's a Colossus. He's got 1 Colossus, he has force fields, he can try to shut down this ramp. But Spirit, he bypasses the ramp. He just bypasses the ramp entirely. Rotates over. Art trying to keep up. Has Zealots coming in from behind. That is a lot of Zealots, true. It's a lot of Zealots, he does come in for a surround. Wouldn't mind Zoo Burrow. Tank does fall, decent mine shots. Zealots, they go down, and can Spirit dive in? Can he take down the Colossus? He wants it. He gets it as well. He gets 1. 1 Colossus goes down. I mean, the other's fake. Immortals are exposed, and Spirit, he snowballs out of control. He's broken through the main army. There's almost nothing left here. There's not even an Immortal. Another Colossus. No, the Colossus, once again pounced upon, does not survive. They're so fragile. They're so squishy. As without that, the third base has been broken. Actually, Spirit just going straight for the natural. He ignores the third. Liberation has arrived. He has freedom. And he breaks through. GG gets called. Spirit, he will take a 2-0 lead. Whew. GG. We'll take a lead. We'll take an advantage. Again, a strong start here out of Spirit. I will say that at least we had more of a back and forth here from Art. Game 1 was a little bit lackluster, I'll be honest. Game 1 was a little more one-sided. Here in Game 2, we did have, of course, Art holding his own at times, but unfortunately, he did get caught out in the center of the map. Ideally, you don't want to be throwing away your units that early on. Every unit counts, especially when you have a committed move out like that. Likewise, it was unfortunate that our Protoss player here, Art, he did miss the initial rotation. What I'm referring to is when Spirit pushed in across the map, we saw that the Protoss army was ready at the ramp. He was ready at the ramp. He was ready to force field. He had no vision in the center, so he didn't know where the army was actually going. And with that, if he had known that the Terran army was coming in through the other ramp, then he could have been there to force field, right? To force field, to slow it down, to buy time for the Colossus. That Colossus arrived after the fight had ended. I'm referring to the second Colossus, which arrived after the first one had fallen, the Immortals as well. Just needed a couple more seconds for that second Colossus, and then potentially he could hold and go on from there. Potentially. But now that we're jumping into game number 2 here, Spirit, he needs one more game to advance on into the next round. And we'll see if he can claim it here. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the blue Terran player, the Polish Terran. It is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player down in the series. We'll see if he can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Art. Likewise, Art had a very nice defense against the initial Hellion drop as well. If you recall, it was 4 Hellions, and Spirit, he only killed 3 probes. So Art had a much better showing in that second game than the first. But despite that, can he make a series out of this? And the pressure is on. He's up against the wall. Needs to bring it back here and now. As, for the first time this series, not a single gas opener, double gas. Double gas here by Spirit. What does that mean? That means racks into factory, means a delayed CC from the Terran player. So delayed CC. With this can lead into early Cyclone pushes. This can lead into an early tank drop. This can lead into committed Banshee play, a more committed Widowmine drop. Again, with the faster factory, you get faster add-ons, and yeah, we can go into a couple of different directions from here. The world is Spirit's oyster. Factory is now on the way. Of course, the probe confirms. Probe did get eyes on both gases. This can even lead into Reactor Reaper Hellion. True. Now that the probe just being as annoying as possible, almost gets an SCV. Probe goes down. This should not be a one base all in. There are some players like Oliveira or players like Gumiho that can turn this into just a starport, into like a second rack, so then you just pull the boys. But Spirit, he expands. Does expand. He's not that crazy. And back at home, Art is going for his own tech of choice. Once again, Twilight Council. Every game so far, just Twilight Council opener into Blink. At times, 2-gate Blink, or sometimes 3-gate Blink. Has adjusted his gateway count. As a reminder, last game it was 2-gate. Reaper does rotate in, gets a full scout. He confirms. Does confirm. Reaper does rotate, shut down by the Stalker. Nice defense here by Art. And back at home, we have confirmation as to what we were taking into. It is going to be the Widowmine into Tank Lab into early tank production. From here, we can even go for a tank drop. Shows the medevac. Yep, there it is. Tank drop. Okay. So we knew that it was going to be a more aggressive build here out of Spirit. Didn't quite know what. Now we have confirmation. It's going to be an early tank drop here, a very committed move out early on. You can pull a couple of boys with this as well, just to repair and to maintain that tank. It's on Art to figure out what's going on. As Art, he has no idea. He knew double gas, but that's all he knew. Which again isn't enough of a tell. Does try to shade in. Does at least confirm all the Marines, so he knows it's not a commitment into Mass Reaper. Gets one SCV, not bad. Gets one and is gonna get another. And something that should be ringing alarm bells here is like, where's the army? Like, this is good. Like, 2 SCVs, like that's great. But something's wrong. What's wrong exactly? The army's across the map. Spirit, he's going for the dive. We have a second pylon on the way. Tank sieging within range of that pylon. Stalker's getting ready. Shield putting in some work. There's no immortal. There's no immortal on the way. Mine shot goes off, takes out a stalker. 3 stalkers left. Tank boys are brutal, and without that immortal, mate, the observer, it's not gonna help. No, we didn't need the observer. We needed the immortal. Does get the medevac. Medevac gets sniped. Robo's under fire. The immortal isn't gonna pop out. Oh my god, the tank shots are brutal. Getting into the mineral line, and the robot's gonna go down. No defensive immortal. Brutal pick off. Second tank has arrived. And now it's only regular Blink, I should say Blink soldiers to defend. Was being pulled to try to bait out that mine shots. Oh, the dive! The dive was crazy. It was insane. Losing every single stalker against one tank. And Spirit, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going. Takes down the pylon, the first and the second. And Spirit, he has broken that natural. There's one stalker left to defend. Is out of range of the tank. Takes down the Widow Mine. The tank is coming in. And that's why we're just rallying. We're just rallying everything across the map. Marines, tanks, Raven as well. Bit of an awkward angle for the tank, but it's fine. Just maintains control of that natural. In the main base, we have a robot that just now finished. And again, unfortunately, it took a little bit too long for Art to realize what was happening. He needed that immortal as quickly as possible. Immortals, they are tank busters. Like, they're amazing when it comes to dealing with these tanks, but we never saw an immortal. Like, now we have one on the way, but it's so late. It's such a delayed immortal. Tank boys on the stalkers. No friendly fire. Raven has arrived. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Spirit, he will claim the series 3-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. A very aggressive build here from Spirit, at least in game number 3. I mean, really in every game, actually, now that I think about it. Where in game 2, we had the proxy starport into the Hellion drop. Game 1, I guess game 1 was more passive. It was just, you know, the opening units of Spirit that just ended the game in game 1. That was, we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about game 1, but very nicely played here overall. GG, well played. Spirit, he will claim it 3-0, will advance on, and Art, he is knocked out of the tournament. Is knocked out. Again, unfortunately, Art, it just took him a little bit too long to realize what was happening. If he was a little bit more aware, if you remember, he did not see the medevac in the center of the map. He didn't see the move out from Spirit, the tank drop. Because of that, he was caught with his pants down. The pants, they were down. We had observers on the way instead of immortals. Likewise, no additional shield batteries. Lack of defensive setup. And with that, Spirit does claim the win. And now we're getting ready here for our next series. We're getting ready for our next match. Let's switch our scenes over, actually, and catch up on what has been going on. As we are blazing our way through our matches. Let's go. Are making our way through. Here we go. We have Solar. Solar took Lemon down 3-1 to advance on into the lower bracket round 2. Spirit, meanwhile, takes down Art 3-0, likewise advancing on into that next round. And we have 2 more best of 5s remaining here. We have Baby Marine versus Mixu in a TVZ, alongside Jimmy versus Arog Fire. I'm really excited to cast Arog Fire. Very excited, just because Arog Fire is one of those players that did pseudo-retire for quite some time. He kind of stepped away at the start of 2024. If you remember, he joined Matcherino Esports. I think that may have even been actually a little bit into 2023, towards the tail end. But he joined Matcherino Esports. He did join them alongside Estrella, alongside some of the other players as well, alongside Future and Demi, if I recall correctly. But then Matcherino, they were only around for like a season of WTL, and then after that, Fire, he stopped playing. He stopped competing, did step away. But recently, when I say recently, I mean December. So it's been just over a month. Fire, he made his return, and he has been looking very impressive. Very impressive as of late. So we'll get there. I do look forward to featuring him later on in the evening. For now, though, we have our ZVT. As we're halfway through the broadcast, we're going to be going on a short break. Here. We're going to be cutting up the broadcast in half. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, get ready for the matches to come. After the break, we have the Marine versus the Mixu. See you soon.